With the growth and progression of technology, video games as well is growing and progressing with it. Video games is a simple pastime for young children, teens, and adults as well to understand, to simply relax and be calm. But you have those who just see it as a negative, as it's a waste of time to play video games and it rots the brain of children. But as a person who loves to play video games and quite enjoy it, I do see a positive and the good in video games. And as a person who was scolded from their parents on playing video games as a young child, I kind of want to see their view of them can be changed as they see the positives and the goods of video games. So, in my opinion, I believe video games are good for people, as I think they can change and improve one's social connection. And I kind of want to talk about why is this a weird barrier around video games as a negative, and how I kind of want to change one's view of, and educate them who heard these misconceptions and only hear the negatives of video games. And by doing so, I have to talk about my first point, which is the positive and the goods of video games as it can improve one's personal and social connections. And through so, is this data I found that over a third, which was 36% of male teens, actually made a new friend through video games. And how I see this is that video games can create friendship and improve one's communication, as again, making new friends is talking to strangers. And it kind of increases one's communicative abilities and improve their communication skills as well. And also through another source was how children, young children, playing pro-social games, which are games that are basing in trying to show how cooperativeness and is beneficial for young people. And in doing so, these children were more social with their teachers and more active in helping their teachers and being around students their age. And how I see this is children can learn at a really young age to be socially connected with others, either their age or someone older. And why I find this is very important for me and how I take it personal was how I play video games quite a bit. And especially during COVID and being isolated and can't be around people, I think it's kind of a great way to communicate, talk, and be social and be even active with families and friends so you can make new friends and still be social and communicate. And I see that as a strong benefit with video games. And going to my next point is how there's this weird barrier around video games and how it's negative through, again, physical and even mental health hazards, and even how it's not very proactive with some. And, my first source is how those who excessively play video games to an extreme amount are the most obese people. And again, it kind of shows a negative towards video games, but again, it's an excessive amount of playing. If you play with a limit, or you know how much you should be playing, you probably can avoid obesity. Again, you have to eat healthy as well. Again, the person. And another thing I found how most people believe that violent video games causes violence with one. There's no real correlation, but through a source, it does say those who play violent video games do show more aggression and anger, but again, no true violent actions through the player. But again, more research will be found later probably. But the most important is how I think why we view negatives in video games is kind of between two sides. Those who aren't educated in why video games are good or bad, as again, they're just finding maybe false information, maybe they just believe it's true or not. And those who play video games in excessive amount do show the negatives of health and how you're somewhat in this isolated bubble, which again, technology, video games does help communication and being connected with others. And to my third point on how to educate those who don't really understand why video games are positive is through how it can be, what's so good about it, such as it can improve one's creativeness. Um, it goes beyond, like, so a game like Minecraft can increase one's creativeness. Again, it's just a free chance to understand, be creative, and let yourself go. And again, one's creativeness can go beyond just a simple job. It can be your career where you can just be creative as possible. And another way I think we could educate why it's good is how it's a simple way to relieve stress. Again, not for everyone, but it's a great way to relieve stress. Everyone has a different way to relieve stress, and those who love to play video games can relieve their stress and enjoy. And why I'm making this point is that I think that if people do understand and can be educated on why there's the positives of video games, I think more so will be more acceptable being video games being all around, as video games are going to be around for a long time, around children. It's inevitable. And I think it is important to know that video games will be around, and you have to accept there are positives to it. So, in conclusion, I believe that video games are good, as I believe they can improve one's social connections, as well as, you know, understand why there are barriers to it and how I can improve and educate those why there is good reasons for video games being good. Thank you for your time. Bye.